Judge Illness. Mad love for that one. Wasani Wakaka. Uh, mad throwback for your morning. This is the vault. I'm your girl, Myra Maloba, the Afropunk queen. Unfortunately, the boys didn't come in. Leo, I'm by myself. But it's all right. We keep it moving. We keep it pushing. So it's all about that love for hip hop music every Thursday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Have amazing people coming in next week. So be sure to just stand by for that. We're going to be giving you that later on in the show. But yes, there's a lot to unpack. A lot has been happening. Now, it's interesting that my producers decided to go with that particular song and to check in with that particular song because yesterday was the night for Fanisi. So Fanisi is a showcase, it's an experiment, it's a showcase experiment showcase for Kenyan artists to, you know, get into their artist development, get into showcase, get into being put out there. It's amazing. We've had everybody, even from our very own Nafsi, Huru. We've had Wangeshi also grace that as well. I think the last one was Wangeshi. So this is a great showcase, which it just puts together amazing Kenyan artists. And I think last night was supposed to be the 8th edition of it. Now, I was so excited to go because it was my very first one, very first Vanisi experiment. And the other ones just looked so freaking dope. All of them just looked like amazing stuff was put together. And I absolutely love what the team is doing down there because they are just put Yani, unajua, for the love of doing something. Yani, they're doing this kiro safi, they're doing it because they love to see Kenyan music to advance to where it needs to be. So I absolutely applaud them on putting that showcase together. It's never easy putting any event together, but to put that together and have numbers coming through, because that place was full, absolutely full. And just beautiful people all around. And I got to meet a lot of industry guys I haven't seen in a very long time. Big special shout outs to Collins Majaleke Kolo from Klepto. It was great seeing you, great seeing the strides you've made, great hearing where you've been, where you've come from, where you're going to. Also, MC Sharon, who's dropping her album next weekend. And it's going to be massive. I'm going to be giving you details about that also again next week. But yes, MC Sharon was also in the house. It was great to see her. Fadili Music also was there. Kasiva Mundo was also there. Just great musical minds were in that space. Now there was good parts and there was bad parts. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see Illness perform. For whatever reason, her performance got cut short. And also, funny, Saisa was meant to be there on stage. You also didn't get to see her perform, but she will be at the next one. She'll be at the next Funny See. Now, sometimes Kenyan artists just need to sometimes just take themselves seriously. There are members within a certain team that were meant to do their thing last night, but let other people down because of just their vices. Okay, you know what I mean. And I'm wondering why, if you've been contracted to perform at a night, why you would one turn up late and two turn up in the state that you are. I just let an entire team down. It makes absolutely no sense to me. What was meant to be a beautiful night was just let down by a couple of people, and that shouldn't have been the case. Yeah, so it was unfortunate. Actually, it being my first one, but I sat. I sat for the longest time. Fadili got on stage because even when we got on stage, it was great to hear them perform. But the people I really wanted to see perform, I didn't get to see. Again, just due to the failure of just specific individuals who chose themselves before they chose the music, before they chose the show. So hopefully we'll get to see something the next time. Looking forward again to seeing Saisa do her thing. Like, she gives one heck of a performance, okay? One heck of a performance. So that is something to look forward to. And listen, her EP is like I think complete by now, so you're gonna get to see, or rather hear a great body of work, especially for somebody who is new to the scene, absolutely new to the scene. And you guys have literally watched her grow in her artistry and her music, and it's a thing of magic. It's you can heavily get invested in people like her because they put their everything behind it. So I'm not being biased because she works here, but because I've just seen how much she puts into what she does. So yeah, looking forward to that. I hear there's going to be another amazing artist who are going to be at the showcase next month. So be sure to check out Fanisi page, follow them, and follow what they have in store next. Again, amazing team doing amazing work out there to just put Kenyan music to where it needs to be. Just doing their part. I'm not saying they're doing it as a whole, but doing their part to get Kenyan music to where it needs to be. It's absolutely beautiful to see. So big shout out to the Fanisi team. Big shout out to Saisa and the other artists who were there yesterday. Looking forward to what you have in store. Yeah, just going forward, and we're definitely going to be behind you guys 100%. Yes. So other than that, um, uh, again, it was great to have this conversation with Colin. I was like, listen, this is what we're doing, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you need to get to the point where you're now completely just being behind the young artists and bringing them out. And he was like, sign me up. Where is this supposed to happen? And I loved it. He didn't even think about it twice. Yeah. A whole Colo Kleptomaniacs, who has an amazing body of work, amazing career, and he's signing up and he's like, put me on. I'm ready to get on that board. I'm ready to tap in, and I'm ready to just put other Kenyan artists on the map. Absolutely love when people do like that. And I also had to give a big shout out to Jirongi. As in, like, yesterday we were looking at the map of Icon Radio and how everything has led to where we are right now. And Jirongi literally just sits at the top of that tree, okay? I have to be very honest with you. Jirongi is the reason why even Saisa and Nafsihuru are here, because with Jirongi brought in some other cat, that other cat brought in Nafsi. Nafsi came and started doing his thing, and it's been amazing. Never looking back ever since. Also, remember we had Bogigeje Run It Up show. I would never have ever thought in a million years that I would be face to face with Bogigeje, much less doing shows with them or showcases. And it all came to Jirongi, and Jirongi has been bringing in amazing artists for the ciphers. He's bringing amazing people for the interviews. He's been bringing in people who are potentially radio presenters who should be sharing their content on radio. And of course, you have to give it up to guys like them. Guys like them who are like, listen, we need to put out the new crop. We need to put out the new generation, and we're gonna, get them to where they need to be by, standing firmly behind them. I love that. 10 toes deep, these guys go. 10 toes deep. But that's what happened yesterday at Finisi. Again, let's see how the next one goes. Be sure to follow Fanisi on the social media platforms, and then just look out for what's next in the next month, because it's a monthly event. It happens every first Wednesday of the month, as far as I know, as far as I've been told, at Gecko Cafe on Bazi Avenue. So be sure to follow and find out about the next people who are coming in. Now, I am so gassed up about Missy Elliott. Like, you have no idea. Just seeing her announced as Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee. Guys go through a lot to be able to get there, and there is where she is. And I'm really excited to see her get on that stage. Because for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they get to follow your life. They do like a documentary about you. They get to just follow up on the things that you've been doing from the past to the present. And they also get you to get on stage and just do a mashup of your greatest work. Last year, I think they had LL Cool J. Really dope to see him perform Mama Said Knock You Out. And among his other great performances, we also had Jay-Z, who was also in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, also made it to that stage. It is amazing to see what these guys are doing. And then now, having Missy Elliott, you guys ain't ready. Y'all ain't ready. So when we come back, we'll be looking at her artistry and her body of work. But for now, I'm sorry, I stand and Missy Elliott, and we're going to be putting out her music just now for you to listen to. So I hope you enjoy this playlist as much as I always have. Um, and of course, if you have your requests, let me know. Me, I'm not Malji. I'm not DJ Malji. I know. I'm not over here over there just kumaing the decks. But I do have the advantage of playing your requests. So let me know what you'd like to get played, and I'll play it for you right here on the vault as we continue to talk about all things hip hop from 10 to 12 a.m. 12 a.m. 12 noon. All right, let's get straight into it. This is the vault. Missy Elliott, a lot of Missy Elliott. So yes, big news dropped today that she has made it to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Long time coming, absolutely deserved. From the day she was doing all of my grill, yeah, I can't stand the rain. Oh man, till now. And she's still giving her artistry and putting it out there. Like she recently did a song with a girl group called Flow. Very lucky girls, if you ask me, because to have Missy Elliott on your track in this day and age, like that is gonna be it's like it's literally golden. And they released it like about a month ago. We're gonna be playing it later on the show, so you get to hear how it sounds like. But do a lot. A lot. But now, if you look at how she came up, like she was born in July 1st, 1971, in Virginia, and she's the only child of her mother, Patricia Elliott, a power company dispatcher, and father Ronnie, a former U.S. Marine. Elliott grew up in an active church choir family, and singing was a normal part of her youth. At the age of 4, she wanted to be a performer, and she would sing and perform for her family. In later years, she feared no one would take her seriously because she was always a class clown. While her father was an active Marine, the family lived in Jacksonville in a manufactured home community. Elliot blossomed during the part of her year. She enjoyed school for the friendships and that she formed, even though she had little interest in schoolwork. She would later get well above average marks on intelligence tests, and she was advanced 2 years ahead of her former class. Her moving grades caused isolation, and she purposely failed, eventually returning to her previous class. Where her father returned from the Marines, they moved back to Virginia, where they lived in extreme poverty. Now, life in Virginia saw many hardships. Elliot talks about domestic abuse by her father. Now, that segues into now um, her inspiration behind her music. She says she saw her mom's abusive relationship, and this now turned out to be the inspiration behind her music career. Now, Missy Elliott was inspired to take up a music career after witnessing her mother in an abusive relationship. The 51-year-old rap superstar has now sold more than 40 million records worldwide since releasing her first album, Super Duper Fly, in 1997. And when asked by her fans on social media to share the inspiration to her career, she admitted it was to help her mother get out of a troublesome time and to combat a male dominated industry. Now, there's a final detail. I want to know, like what inspired her and what her drive to remain persistent in a male-dominated industry at the time. She said, "I seen many strong women in the industry before me that made it through, and my mom was in an abusive relationship, so I told her I would make it so I could get her out of that situation, and I would make sure she'd never have to work again. That's what really kept me going." The Wicked Hitmaker previously revealed that she never felt as if she fitted in anywhere. I wasn't entirely sure that people understood her music as she noticed that fellow rap star Doja Cat was starting to carve out her own lane in the industry. In an interview with the Woman Hitmaker for Interview Magazine, she said, "Sometimes you gotta take a chance. I never felt like I fit in, period. I don't think there was a lane for the music that we did. The only reason they found a lane is because I was rapping over tracks. But at first, I didn't think people understood the music. You're starting to create your own lane. It probably won't ever fit, but people will love it." Now, when she came out with the music, like everybody just thought she was strange. Okay, her music videos were really out there. Her trash bag moment in "I Can't Stand the Rain" is one of the most prolific and one of the most used costumes in Halloween to date. Okay, her just embodying herself in how she looked, how she felt, how she wanted to sound. She defined who Missy Elliott was. Nobody defined her in whatever way. And remember, she also got into reality TV when she was making up her own band situation. And she was seen to be really harsh. But of course, I mean, the music industry at that time was just that. For you to make it, you had to undergo really harsh conditions to be able to stand above the rest, just weather the storm, and then you became somebody who became a force to be reckoned with because of the things you had to go through to get to the top. And that's what her show kind of embodied. And she was seen to be like, the usual B word. But of course, she was doing something that a lot of music execs were doing at the time. Diddy, with making a band, also who was extreme in his ways. He was never really labeled as anything apart from being Diddy. But of course, Missy saw a lot of harsh criticism from that. She also saw a lot of harsh criticism from her music, her style of music, how she would rap, how she would put together music. People saw it odd that her and Timbaland and Magoo would put together music that wasn't really conventional for hip hop during that time. But it didn't stop her. There's one particular video she shared where her, Timbaland, and Magoo were putting themselves together as sort of Barbie and Ken, and they had drawn on the joints, and it was put out on all platforms, and they were just being heavily criticized because even Timbaland and Magoo had slick back hair as opposed to the usual African nappy hair. but she was now making reference to the Now Barbie movie that's about to come out, and she was like, they were futuristic at that time, and indeed, a lot of the things was highly futuristic. If you follow her like I do, you get to see a lot of her just breaking down what she was doing with her music at that time, what her thought process was like when she was doing the music videos, where she was at while she was doing it, and how she put it together. Let me tell you, if there's musical genius in this lifetime, it would have to be Missy Elliott. And if you really, really, really invest in your music and you really want to learn, then you need to follow people like Timberland, Missy, Pharrell. Just get on that path and understand exactly how these guys do what they do because they are musical geniuses. All right, we're going to take a little bit of a break as we continue to break down the person that Missy Elliott is. I'll try and look for that. There's one very infamous clip during that particular reality show that she did. I'll look for it where she was being Missy in that particular moment, and guys didn't really appreciate it. So I'll look for it, and then we'll try to play it on later. But of course, we'll look at a little bit at her history, especially in music, and that has led her to this point where she is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Also, Timberland, who now unleashed that he's going to be working on her new album. Is rather is working on her new album, and it's currently in the works. So keep it here for that. Of course, again, like I said, you can send in your requests. Let me know what you'd like to get played, especially if you want to get into that Missy Elliott hour. Let me know what song that Missy Elliott inspired you with, or what you just simply loved. Mine is too big. My list is too huge. But we'll break it down one way or another. Keep it here. This is the vault. Yeah, that was just like earlier today. Missy Elliott has finally and officially made history after becoming the first female rapper to be inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The legendary musician took to Twitter to express her gratitude for honor. She says, I want to say this huge, not just for me, but all my sisters in hip hop. This door is now open to showcase the hard work and many of us who contribute to music. I've cried all morning because I'm grateful. Thank you at Rock Hall and all on the committee and super friends. Many took to the opportunity to, of course, congratulate her, including us here at Icon Radio. Of course, you cannot just ignore the fact that she had made a great contribution, and it would seemingly be the fact that also she's the first female rapper to actually be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So here she is making history all together. Like she is a multi-award winning artist. After forming, the R&B group called Phase, later renamed its sister, with friends LaShawn Shellman and Janita Coleman and Radia Scott. She recruited her neighborhood friend Timothy Mosley, who aka goes by the name Timbaland, as the group's producer and began making demo tracks. Among them included 1991 promo First Move. Later in 1991, Phase caught the attention of Jodeci member and producer Devontae Swing by performing Jodeci's songs a cappella for him backstage. After one of his group's concert in short order, Faze moved to New York City and signed to Elektra Records through Devante's Swing Mob imprint and also renaming the group's sister. Sister's debut song was titled Brand New, which released in 1993. Elliott took Mosley, whom Devontae rechristened Timbaland, and their friend Melvin Magoo Barcliffe along with her. All 20 plus members of the Swing Mob, among them future stars such as Genuine, Player, and Tweet, lived in a single two-story house in New York and were often at work on material before both for Jodeci and their own projects. Now, Elliot also wrote and rapped on Raven Simone's 93 debut single, That's What Little Girls Are Made Of. She also got into Diary of a Mad Band for Jodeci, the show After Party, The Hotel, with Timbaland and Devontae. Like she's been on a whole bunch of work. And her work has spanned from 1991 up until now. Like I told you, she got on a new song with a group called Flow. And now it seems that Timbaland has announced that he's going to be working on Missy's upcoming album. And Timbaland is recognized as one of the most influential producers to ever do it. Now, he recently sat down to be interviewed to discuss his career and upcoming work. And perhaps the most exciting project he's working on is an album with hip hop legend Missy Elliott. Now, Missy hasn't released a full album in 15 years. However, the love her fans have for her hasn't gone away. It was first reported that the duo would be linking up again earlier this year, and Timbaland didn't give a definitive date for the project. However, he hopes it will be ready to go this summer. I am absolutely gassed up and looking forward to that. I hope you are too. So yes, that has been my Missy Elliott 2 hours. And I'm glad you've been here to bear it with me, of course. If you love hip hop, you love Missy Elliott, then this has definitely been a treat for you. I gotta leave guys off right now, and then we'll be back next week with the boys. The boys are gonna be back in studio, and we're gonna be having the stars of Mzuka the movie checking in for that particular one. Did you know our very own Nafsi Huru and Saisan Dabi actually starred in that movie? Huge, huge, huge film by Maisha Magic, which I think is still right there on their platform till now. So I'm going to be checking out this weekend. Then I'll come back with lots of questions for the cast and crew of Mzuka come next week. So stand by for that. Also next is going to be Saisan Dabi will be coming in between 3 and 5 p.m. And she'll be holding it down with special guests in studio. I'm trying to get their names. There's one who's called Lavi, who is an artist, who will be coming in, and she'll also be looking at your top 10 chart list. So there's going to be a new list coming out today, and she's going to be profiling the ones who were there last week to kind of see who exactly took the top spot. The funny thing in the comment section, as in the list was there, but guys are voting for some other guy. So I'm hoping they'll play him today on the show so we get to know what all the the hype is about, and then hopefully get him on the chat. All right, guys, we'll see you again next week. Of course, keep it here on Icon Radio, where we are your number one entertainment plug. I'll see you again tomorrow. I'm your girl Myra Maloba, the Afropunk Queen.